Emotions are not a bad thing. It's okay if you're scared. It's okay if you're angry. It's normal. But don't leave that in your heart, because it's going to leave you unbalanced and it's going to leave you in a mess. So for the past few years, I've made a conscious decision to really grow in my spirituality. And what that looks like for me is I want to understand, why am I here? Why am I on this earth? What is the plan that the Creator has for me while I'm here? How do I get in alignment with my true self, with my highest self? And how do I how do I heal all of the things that I've experienced so far in life? That is what growing in my spirituality means to me. I realize a big part of spiritual growth is healing our hearts, is recalibrating our hearts back to wellness and wholeness. Physically, our heart is a vital organ. It pumps oxygen rich blood throughout our entire body. However, on a spiritual level, our heart is where most of our emotional blockages are stored and held. So, all of our pain, all of our repressed emotions, all of our hurt, it's all stored in the heart. So, through like reading books, meditating, I do read my Bible, I have come to find that emotion is not the problem, right? Being fearful, being scared, being angry, that's not the problem. That's a part of life. But are we processing that emotion and are we accepting that emotion? That is where I was having trouble with for many, many years. So when I think about my childhood, I just feel like emotional expression is not something that I was taught. And I honestly don't think that many of us were taught how to emotionally express ourselves and regulate our emotions. We learn based off what we see. So, however, the people that were raising me, my mom and my dad, however they were expressing their emotions, is pretty much how I learned how to express mine. And for me, I always wanted to be somebody that was in control of their emotions. I never wanted to be the person that was out of control. And I remember growing up seeing several people, whether it be my parents or other family members or friends, and when they would experience certain emotions, it just seemed like an outburst. It seemed like they were out of control. And I never wanted to look crazy. Like, I never wanted to be the person that somebody was looking at and they're like, is she okay? So for me, I tended to push down my emotions and not feel them the way I should. But what I now realize is that holding back your tears, holding back your emotions, it's not helping you. It's only putting extra weight on your heart. And instead of the blood flow going forward, giving oxygen throughout your entire body, now you're creating backflow because you're holding on to something that needs to be expressed, it needs to be felt so you can move on from it. So one time I was doing this guided meditation, and in the guided meditation, the person said, place your hand over your heart. And when I did that, I felt this surge of electricity around my heart. And I never felt anything like that before. Like, you could literally feel like I felt like my heart was vibrating almost out of my chest. And there was even like this squeeze to it. And I was like, wow, my heart really needs some work. So please believe you are carrying energy throughout your entire body. You're carrying energy in your heart. And it is best for you to be able to express your emotions, feel your emotions, and not hold on to them so that the energy can flow freely throughout your body. And so many of us are blocked energetically. I know time after time after time again, I've been blocked energetically. I actually feel like I'm experiencing some of that now, to be perfectly honest with you. So, how do you know that you're blocked? Well, you're mentally, you're foggy, maybe you're moody, maybe you have difficulty making decisions, concentrating, perhaps you have tension in your body, you just overall don't feel well. This could all be reasons why you potentially are blocked in your heart energy, because you have things that are accumulating, these emotions and these feelings that you've allowed to accumulate inside of you because you haven't released it. So little by little, it's very important that we accept the emotion that is there, that is coming up for us, that we're feeling in that moment. Accept that's what it is, right? Don't try and trick yourself to, oh, I'm not feeling grief and I'm okay and I'm strong. Like, all that I'm strong and I'm okay is a bunch of crap. I've said that to myself so many times, and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. If anything, it just makes you feel worse than what you feel. You're trying to psych yourself out from the emotion, but it's not helping. So accept the emotion that you're feeling and don't resist it, right? There's this saying that I always hear: what you resist persists. So if you're pushing things down inside of you and you're not feeling it the way you should so that you can release it, it's just being bottled up inside, and it's going to keep showing up in your life in ways that maybe you don't even realize. Emotions have to be expressed. And that is something that I wasn't aware of growing up. I just thought if you don't want to express an emotion, then you don't have to. You just push it down and it goes away. But that's really, really far from the truth. So remember when I told you that when I was younger, I would see people express their emotions, particularly anger, and I just didn't like the way it looked. Like when I was younger and growing up, I would see people being angry. Maybe it was people I knew in my family, my friends, maybe it was a stranger, but anger was something that always stuck out to me. And I was like, everybody just looks crazy when they're angry, and I don't want to look that way. So anger is one of the main emotions that I often and still working on, right? Because I'm not perfect and we're not trying to act like we're perfect over here. But anger is one of the emotions that I often would push down because I did not like the way anger looked on other people, and I was scared how anger would look on me. So because I was so scared of what anger would look like on me and not wanting to look crazy when I was in my angry moments, because I chose to resist that and push it down, now what that does is it accumulates in my heart, it accumulates in my system as dysregulation, dysfunction. So now my heart is out of balance and it doesn't know how to function in its normal capacity, which is free flowing, it's openness, it's love. How can your heart show up for you when you need it the most, when it's in so much dysregulation and dysfunction? So here's an aha moment for me. I used to date a guy, and this guy was an angry guy. After we broke up, I would ask myself, how in the heck did you attract this person and you were in relationship with this person, right? Because after you get out of a relationship, you should be able to self-reflect, not just on what the person did, but the person that you were and how you could be better. So I'm self-reflecting because they say you attract what you are. And I always used to say to myself, I'm not angry. I'm not an angry person. What would make me attract this angry individual? He was able to express his anger and all his other emotions very openly, whereas for me, when it came to anger, I did not express that. So when he was angry, I was always trying to calm him down. It's okay, right? I was trying to suppress his anger. Oh gosh, well, please don't do that. It's one thing if you're going to try and suppress your own emotions because they belong to you, but don't try and do that to another person. Don't try and calm somebody else down, when if they're trying to express how they feel, let them do that, as long as it's not in a volatile way where somebody's going to get like hurt or something. But if they're expressing, allow them to do that. But anyway, because I wasn't comfortable expressing my anger, I tried to suppress his anger, and it just didn't work. But I kept saying to myself, why did you attract this type of person? Because you're not angry. Wrong. I was angry. All the anger from childhood, from growing up and adolescence, I had stored all of that inside my heart because I didn't want to express it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. I didn't want it to be seen. So all that anger, it never went anywhere. It was in my heart. Two people trying to love each other and be in relationship with one another, but we're literally battling the same thing. We're both angry. Here we are, two angry people, just showing it or not showing it in two different ways, but we're the same. I'm carrying anger, he's expressing the anger. But how can you be two people trying to be in relationship, trying to be in love, when you're literally at war with yourself? I was having difficulty expressing myself. He didn't have that difficulty, but he was having difficulty processing those emotions that he did have. He could express it, but he wasn't able to process it and let it go. So, how are two people like that going to be together? So, my question is, are you at war with yourself and you don't even know it? Or maybe you do know that you're at war with yourself, but you're not doing anything about it. I look back and I'm like, you know what? Back then, I was afraid to be angry on display. I didn't want people to see how I would look, how I would sound when I was angry. I didn't want to look crazy. I didn't want to look unbalanced. But now, if I get angry, so what? Who cares? Who cares if you get angry, right? Like, and somebody sees that you're yelling and that you're upset and they look at you with disgust. Who cares? Your job is to be able to express what you're feeling, to acknowledge it, to let it pass through you so it can be gone and done with. It is so unhealthy to keep these emotions bottled up inside of us just because we don't want to express it or because we don't know how to. It is like so apparent to me because I'm a nurse and I see so many people with different diseases and health challenges that they're going through. And I really believe that the emotional baggage that we are holding onto is absolutely making us sick. And we're sicker than ever because I feel like we're not expressing who we really are. We're not expressing these emotions that we're experiencing. And we are holding on to so much junk in our minds, in our hearts, and it is making us sick. So I'll leave you with this. If you want to level up, if you want to grow, if you're on your own spiritual journey, make peace with your heart. Do some heart surgery. Get in there, look inside, see what's left over, see what is just rotting inside of you, what is stinky and smelly, and start working on it. Now is your opportunity to really look inside and see what needs to be done so you can move forward in a happy and healthy way. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.